Hi, this is Jake from Optimus Futures, and in this video, I just wanted to walk you through and give you a brief tutorial on charts on the brand new Firetip X web-based trading platform from Ironbeam. So as you can see here, we are currently working within the default workspace. I just wanted to show this off because this chart is completely customizable. If you do prefer the default workspace over perhaps creating your own or whatever the case may be, feel free to use this 100%. The features that I am about to show you will apply to this chart. So again, feel free to start with a base here with a default workspace and work off of that. But for this video, I'm just going to create my own and we'll just strictly be focusing on the chart just to prioritize our focus on that. So let's go ahead and click new. Let's open up a new chart demo space. We'll do it as a free form so we can drag and move it around as we like, and let's click get started. So this will open up a blank workspace, obviously. From here, you're going to want to open up a chart. If you're not familiar with how to do so, you can click on trading and then click on charts. Now, of course, this will open up a chart. The first thing that it will prompt you to do is apply a symbol to it. Let's start with something simple. We'll do the ES. So with the ESU19 applied, we'll just click on it. If you want, you can continue and add formulas and things of that nature. I'm going to focus on that in just a bit, but let's cover the basics for now. So if you click save, this will apply it to your chart. First thing I would like to mention is manipulation of the actual window. You can resize and drag by left clicking and holding in the bottom right hand corner. You'll see there are this symbol for diagonal arrows. So if we left click, drag and hold, it will make it a little bit bigger depending on where we drag it to. If we actually want to drag it and move it among the workspace, we can left click and hold in the top here and drag it around. Other things of this nature are such as minimization, clicking on the minimize button in the top right corner. If you do minimize a workspace or a widget, you can pop it back up by coming into the top left hand corner. To the right of the magnifying glass will be icons for everything you have minimized. All you need to do is just left click that and it'll pop it back up. If you want to make it full screen, you can do so using the plus button in the top right hand corner. This is full screen, of course. It works the same, it just takes up your entire screen. And then we can revert it by clicking on the same button. It just changes a symbol to a cascade windows, so two little squares. And then finally, of course, you can exit out by clicking on the X button. We can open up a chart back at any time by doing the same thing as before. Clicking on charts, let's apply the mini Dow this time, and then clicking on save. So now we know how to manipulate our chart window. Let's continue on. Let's say, for example, you wanted to use one chart window here, but have multiple contracts applied. This is actually really easy to do so, and Firetip X works using a tab system. You'll find your tabs in the lower left-hand corner. You can just simply click on the plus button, which will add a new tab. Then you can add a new chart by clicking on the plus button in the middle of the screen, typing in your symbol once again, left clicking, and then saving. So now we have both the ES, the mini S&P 500, and the E-mini Dow, and we can swap back and forth on these tabs accordingly. One other thing I would like to mention is that if you want to, you can edit the chart name in the top left-hand corner. This is kind of for the overall widget. So we can name this charts, which is the default, and then we can name it YM and ES. So that way, maybe if we have another chart widget open and we wanted to swap back and forth between tabs, we'll have an idea of what charts these actually are. That being said, of course, you can hover over your actual chart price action at any time. Anytime you hover over a window or a section of a chart, you'll notice in the top left-hand corner of that section, it'll actually give you detailed statistics based off of where your mouse is. Of course, it will tell you the chart that you're working with or the symbol. So you'll see YMU19, the mini Dow. Of course, when I hover over my mouse over a specific section, as you can see, it'll give me that time, the date for that specific candlestick I'm hovering over, the close, the open, the high, and the low. Same thing for our volume indicator down here. Again, hovering over it, it'll show that we are looking at the YM, the volume. And again, hovering over, it'll show you the exact date, in time that I'm hovering over, as well as that specific volume level. So that's quite nice. So you're probably wondering, for example, how do I get volume on my chart? Well, you can do so actually by just coming up to the top left-hand corner here, clicking on Edit, and then we can go to Add Formulas. Now from here, you'll pick the formula that you want and it'll add it in its own entirely different section, or depending on the indicator or the quote-unquote formula that you add, it'll overlay it. So for example, let's take a look at an overlaying formula here. Bollinger Bands is a great example. Once you have selected it, parameters will become available. So you can have the number of standard deviations for your bands, the period type, the symbol or the indicator it would be applied to. As far as display goes, we can change colors, background colors, what type of line it's using. Again, what type of line? So, well, before it was chart type, we're using a line chart. We could also choose mountain or histogram. And then for the actual line type, there's things such as solid, there's bold lines, bold dashed, small dashed. And then, of course, now we have where we want this to actually display. So currently this will be as the same window as the IND. Of course, you see the IND is currently the mini DAO. You can also do things such as, let's scroll back down. You can have it only apply to new charts. So it'll open up its own chart. You can have it applied to upper and lower, which are actually indicators that were set on the defaults for the default chart. But I didn't show that off yet, but that's something you can also apply it to. And then if you wanted to, you could only apply it to the Dow close, the volume, or the trade count. So we can also put it on the bottom section here. It really depends. You probably want to keep it, especially for this indicator, the same as the main price graph, just to overlay it on the actual bar charts or the actual charts there. But again, this is entirely customizable. And then here you can kind of see the price formats I was mentioning before. Of course, the ones that I'm mentioning here are actually dedicated to the actual price action of the chart. This is for the Bollinger Bands, so you can actually format it based off of price and numbers. But let's leave this as default and click Save. Click Save once more. And as you can see, it completely overlays our chart with Bollinger Bands. You can do this among multiple charts, multiple instruments. So we came back over to our ESU 19 tab. We can click again, Edit Charts, add a formula. We can find something else. So let's do the ADX. We can type in ADX. We can choose right here from what multiple ADX formulas they have on here. So they have an index, movement index rating, and then they just have the EMA index. Let's just use the regular ADX, the EMA. So this is based off of our data set here. We have a period again, display, pretty much what we've seen before. So as you can see, it's automatically going to want to open on a new chart. If we wanted to, we can have it open in the same window as our data set, which of course is our main price here. And then you have outputs again, but let's just save this as default. And as you can see, it does draw the ADX line down here. So it depends on the indicator, depends on the formula. You may want to customize and mess around to see what formulas work with what overlays and things of that nature. This may have been better to put it on the lower section. So you really just need to test around with each indicator. Each indicator does behave a bit different. Now that we have both of these applied, I'd just like to show you. We'll go back to this one since it's a little bit more appealing. You can actually left click and hold your sections and arrange them accordingly. So if you have multiple sections here, you can actually arrange them depending on how you want them. Other than that, there's only a couple other features I'd like to show you. For every section on your chart, so we can consider this two sections here, two entirely different sections. You'll notice if we left click in the top right hand corner, both of our sections have it here. They actually open up a little submenu of icons that you can customize and adjust your chart with. So for example, there's chart linking. You have things such as the panel settings. So this will just customize your chart text, your grid color, a crosshair color, and then your chart crosshair background. You can change a grid type, and then paddings, which are just spacing between your axes. So if we click save, you'll see my chart colors change a little bit, my text, and this is again only pertaining to what section you customize it for. So just so you can see, the colors and the style of our grid in the background is a little bit different than the bottom section. Same with the text, we're using like a cyan blue instead of a white. Just small customizations, but of course it's always available to you. To the right of that, you do have your crosshair. As you can see, again, each section is independent. Activating it per section, as you can see, will just create one large crosshair. Moving on, you have drawing tools to the right of that. You have lines, fan lines, and retracement lines. Pretty much just left click, the drawing tool will become active. Left click on the chart where you want to start your drawing tool, and then let go on where you want to end it. It'll take a second to actually publish that on your chart there. But once it does publish, you'll see it. It will pop up. And again, they do take a couple of seconds. There you go. We can do the same thing for retracement lines. Just left click, hold. Of course, this isn't entirely technical or functionally accurate here, but just wanted to show you what this kind of looks like there. And then, of course, if you want to manipulate or delete those drawing tools at any time, you can just come back up to this drawing tool section. Underneath the 3 main drawing tool types, you'll see everything listed, and then you can just click the trash can icon to delete. Other than that, you do have some plus and minus buttons. This will pretty much just allow you to zoom in and out of your chart and increase spacing between your bars. Finally, and of course, you do have the trash can icon. This will just allow you to delete sections of your chart if you accidentally make a mistake or you just want to clean things up. So you can just click the trash can. It'll delete the appropriate section, and you can do it for both, and we can start over from scratch. Let's do it on this one too. And there you have it. So I think we pretty much covered every single feature of a chart on this platform. Of course, as you saw with indicators, they behave a bit different depending on the indicator you choose, where you display it, and the parameters you adjust. But other than that, everything is pretty straightforward. So we do hope you found this video helpful. If you do have any questions, please post them in the comment section down below. Remember, this is a brand new platform, so we'll be creating new content continuously. If you want to keep up with that content, please subscribe for more Firetip X videos, more videos on trading psychology, and much more. As always, thanks for watching, and we hope you found it helpful.